This video title implies that my two Fender guitars are not actually genuine Fenders, and that implication would be correct. I mean, let's just look at the Strat headstock. None of that water slide decal is in the proper place for an actual Fender. Yet, I wouldn't go as far as to call these two guitars fakes either, the way that a Chanel knockoff is trying to pass off as the original. No, to me, these two Fender-branded non-Fenders are more like wearing your number 2 Yankees jersey to the ballpark. You know you're not Derek Jeter. Everybody else there also knows for sure that you're not Derek Jeter. But that wasn't really the point in wearing it, was it? No, it was to pay tribute to one of the greats, to the original. To me, that's what these two Partscasters are trying to do. These are MJTs. So maybe you're in the market for an MJT or even another Partscaster. You're trying to build one yourself, and you just want to see them, hear them a little bit, and maybe even find out, man, should I go this route or should I just buy a certified Fender off the shelf? Well, let's see what we can do today in this video. We'll talk a little bit, we'll play a little bit, we'll look at the guitars, and at the end of the day, you get to decide for yourself. First, a little background on MJT. They're a company here in the US that started by just refinishing guitars for people, and then later added in making their own bodies, providing neck options for customers, even doing full builds direct to the customer. You could go to their website and order something right from them, and the pictures and reviews look super good. Now, that's not how I came across these two guitars. These, I would say, were second or third hand. Often, what people will do is buy the bodies and the necks from MJT and then build it all out themselves with their own choices in hardware, electronics, things like that, because they want a project to work on. And then they'll play it for a while and sell it off when they need funds to start a new project. That's what happened here. So because of that, because it's a third-hand built MJT, you could say, for around the price of a Fender Player Series, you get access to custom shop level options like nitro finishes, which both of these guitars have, vintage accurate or vintage inspired specs, high quality pickups if the previous owner put those in. These are all things that are super nice to have at such a discount. Another perk to going the Partscaster route is if you like to tinker with your own guitars, but digging into a Fender custom shop makes you a little bit nervous, which it probably should. Going into a Partscaster is a lot less stress. Somebody else has already just taken various bits and pieces and screwed and soldered them together. So what would a few more bits and pieces be if you take care of it? Not really that big of a deal. So let's hit some specifics on these two particular guitars. We'll start with the Strat. It's my number one. And if you know me, you know that it would be black. This took the place of my made in Japan Midnight 60s Stratocaster that I had for a long time. This one is a 5960 spec, nice round neck profile, 7¼ rosewood board, smaller frets, clay dots. It has a black anodized pickguard on it that I have had on previous guitars before. Stumbled across the pickguard and loaded it with an electronic setup that's more to my liking versus a standard Strat. Has Fender's Pure Vintage 59 single coils in there. Really, really love those pickups. I highly recommend them, especially for the money. The relic job, I'll be honest, I'm more of a light relic, like a journeyman kind of a guy. This one is a little bit, or a lot more than that, you could say. I don't think all of it was MJT's pro level relicking, though. I have a feeling some parts of it, looking at you, forearm carve, were the previous owner's over-enthusiastic sandpapering. But the rest of the guitar is so great that I give some of that extra relicking a little bit of a free pass. The rest of the guitar makes up for it in my book. Moving on to the Tele, she's more like a mid-60s Fender. A Tele custom here, double bound in all of her goldy goodness. Such a cool looking guitar. A little bit smaller neck in comparison to the Strat. 9.5-inch radius rosewood board here. A little bit larger frets, brighter white celluloid dot markers. I think this guitar has Seymour Duncan Antiquity Tele pickups in it. Really, really enjoy those. The finish, similar kind of issues here. Again, not from MJT. While it was a different previous owner, I think the gentleman that owned this guitar also had some over-enthusiastic finish altering ideas that he put into practice. There is like this greenish streaking along parts of the front of the guitar. You could see it when you get up really close. Possible that the previous owner wanted that kind of green patina look that gold tops often get after a long time, but maybe he didn't want to wait for that to take place, so he used some sort of permanent crayon. Hard to say, but definitely not an MJT thing. It's not a pro level kind of green, and I've not really seen anything like it that they've been doing. But again, the rest of the guitar, just like with the Strat, the rest of the guitar is so good that it makes up for it, and my arm kind of covers most of the streaking anyway, so I give the guitar, yet again, a free pass. Aside from those interesting finish issues, both of these guitars also had some significant electronics problems when I first got them. But again, remember, these were second, third-hand builds. These were not direct from MJT. If you were buying direct from their site, don't think you'd be seeing these kind of problems. But if you're going for a second-hand Partscaster, good for you to know what you might be presented with. The Strat came with a dead pot and some wiring that was really messed up, making it pretty much unusable. I was planning on putting in my own loaded guard anyway, so that wasn't a major deal breaker for me. The Tele 2, electronics problems. The switch was defective. The input jack was falling out of the body, which I don't know how that really was happening. But simple fixes. I enjoy tinkering and working on my guitars, so it was something I was kind of expecting already and was happy to take the time and the effort. But if that's not really in your skill set, or something that you just don't enjoy doing, that's going to be a deciding factor for you if you go in the secondhand Partscaster market. Remember, if that's the case, a hobbyist is putting together your guitar, not a luthier. So you might have some problems like this initially. So should you buy a Partscaster, particularly an MJT? Well, at the end of the day, that's up to you to decide. But for me personally, I absolutely love playing these two guitars. Did they have issues when they first came here? Yeah, but that's all been fixed now. And these guitars are solid to the core. That to me is the important thing. You know when you're holding and playing a good guitar. And both of these are just that. I've owned a lot of Strats over the years, loved each of them individually for different reasons. This one is no different. Love this guitar. Teles, I've owned a few, but never really bonded with them. Never owned them for longer than just a few months. But this Tele, I just can't seem to get enough of it. And I think that speaks volumes for the quality of MJT's products and the power of what can be done with screwing and soldering just a few pieces of wood and metal together. Sometimes some pretty cool things can come out. If you own a Partscaster, particularly an MJT, let me know in the comments below. What spec setup did you go with? How did you come across it? And how much do you love it? As always, I've been Joey. Please be looking out for more great content like this coming from this channel. Thank you guys so much. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Take care.